and it's from a PhD researcher from the land down under at Australian National University, Miss Jessica Sharmeen Rahman. And her research is about how where music meets AI and figuring out whether listening to Justin Bieber is actually good for you. And if you're wondering where her research question came from, so was I, and I actually think it's a really, really interesting story to tell. So Miss Rahman hated Justin Bieber. She didn't like his music. You can say she was the antithesis of a belieber. She caught herself listening to Love Yourself, Justin Bieber's smash hit, for the first time, and her body had a great positive response to it. She got chills, she was enjoying the music, and then once she saw that it was Justin Bieber, she was super curious about how her body could subconsciously enjoy a certain type of music that consciously she didn't really think she liked. After years of research, she's developed an AI model that can detect two things about your music listening experience. One, the genre of music that you're listening to, and two, how it makes you feel. And the only inputs that it needs to find out those two things is a few physiological responses to your body.
So what is this physiological response that the model needs?
It's a great question. It's right where I was going next. So they only track three things, which is pretty impressive. They only track your brain waves, so the activity and the patterns of neurons firing in your brain. The second thing they track is they put a sticker on your sweat glands to see how much sweat is coming out, the perspiration rate. And the last thing they check also can be integrated with that sticker, and they just track the heart rate in your body. So between brain waves, sweat glands, and heart rate, they can tell with a 96% accuracy what genre of music you're listening to and how it makes you feel.
So, Dan, these indicators that you just mentioned, I'm assuming the subjects have to be in a controlled environment, right? Because if I'm seeing like flashing lights or if I'm watching a scary movie, I'm probably going to sweat more, my heart rate's going to go up, my brain activity is going to amplify. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it was a pretty pristine clinical environment, let's say, when they did this testing. So, they made sure that they weren't watching any videos or anything. They made sure that they restricted extra movement so their heart rate wouldn't go up. And then they also wore noise-canceling headphones, so they could be sure that the patients, the only thing that they were listening to was the test music.
Gotcha.
That being said, it's still really impressive that with 96% accuracy, they were able to suggest songs that the patients would enjoy without knowing their previous music preferences. And Ms. Rahman has actually found a really great functional application for this today, which I didn't know about, is treating epilepsy. There's a certain subset of people with epilepsy that it's actually triggered by music, and I wasn't aware of that before.
I wasn't either. Wow.
But so some of these people have epilepsy and their seizures are triggered by listening to certain genres of music. And so Ms. Rahman has found two potential applications for these patients with epilepsy. And the first one, she says, is therapeutic. So helping these people that, have a love-hate relationship with music, essentially, help them to enjoy music, increase their joy, reduce the stress by suggesting songs for them that their body will truly react positively to. And on the flip side of that, it's kind of mysterious to some of these patients with epilepsy what types of music trigger their epilepsy. So she says it can also be used as a diagnostic tool by tracking the body's physical response to find exactly which genres these folks with epilepsy are having a negative reaction to.
Now, Dan, it looks like there's a very direct therapeutic application for this technology, but as it matures, I could for sure see this like playing into for example, like the Apple ecosystem, where you have the Apple Watch that's like reading how much you're sweating, your heart rate, and things like that. And then you have the Apple Music app where you're like listening to music. Maybe like it could be like, oh, like it looks like Farbod or Dan is having like a really tough day. They're very stressed out. What if I put together an entire playlist that just like mellows them?
I think that's a perfect end game application for this type of technology. Right at the intersection of wearables, which already track some of these physiological responses that are mentioned in the research, and then what music you're listening to. Any company that can combine the two. A great one I think of is Spotify, in addition to Apple that you mentioned. I'm already impressed by Spotify's ability to suggest songs and playlists to me that I'll enjoy purely based off my listening history. So I think if they were also given this algorithm, which is already super powerful, to combine the two to suggest me the perfect playlist for Daniel based on the way my body responds to music, based on my listening history, they could, I think, with pretty decent accuracy, probably provide a podcast or a song or something to me, a playlist that is basically every single thing on the list makes me happy, which I'm really looking forward to.
Sign me up for that. I would love something like that.